Ellen?
Hey, good morning. You know, we think about mental health and a lot of times we go to the extremes, right? But I have Becky Rosenthal here. She is a, psychotherapist and clinical social worker from the Polyclinic. And I want to talk about how, these celebrities, they've got all the resources in the world. First off, it's hard to admit that, maybe you're struggling with something, but they have all the resources in the world. So what about someone that's living here in the greater Seattle area? How can we get help and how can we even get over the stigma of, oh my gosh, maybe something's not right. Maybe I can be better mentally.
Yeah, I think you're right in that stigma is the first barrier to get over. So I think a lot of times people are noticing for weeks or months or years that they are not doing well, that there is some internal challenge that they have to overcome. And one of the things that stops them from getting help is the idea that, what will people think of me?
Right.
Am I a failure if I acknowledge to myself or others that something isn't great, that I need help in some sort of way?
Right, and I've always been very open about it, like with me personally. I always thought about getting on medication and getting help as me failing. And so I'm glad that you said that. Also, knowing that mental health is not that extreme. All because someone struggles with mental health issues doesn't mean that they're going to make a choice that they can't come back from or bring a gun to somewhere that they're not supposed to. What are some more, I want to say more common, but what are some more things that mental health affects in terms of not the extremes, but the everyday? Is it just kind of feeling blue? Explain to me from that perspective.
Yeah, so I work in a primary care setting, and that's really, really common these days as a psychotherapist doing short-term therapy. So a lot of times people come to their doctors and they say, I had a panic attack. I went to the ER thinking I had a heart attack, and it turns out it was a panic attack, and I had no idea. A lot of times people have really intense health anxiety that's really creating a lot of disruption and interference in their life, a lot of depression, and they come in worrying that they're crazy or they're extreme, and they're like, am I going to get locked up? Does it mean that I have failed if I have to take medication? And really, it is so normal these days. People of all kinds, depression doesn't care what kind of car you drive, trauma doesn't care what zip code you're in, anxiety doesn't matter where you're from.
And if you're thinking that maybe something's not necessarily as great as it could be, maybe life's not as great as it could be, or something's just a little bit off, Becky's advice is the first thing to do is ask your doctor, your doctor that you go to for when you're sick physically, and they might be able to refer you to someone like Becky at the Polyclinic or whatever. So Becky, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.